The driver's seat is presented by Ray Reese Volkswagen and Portland's Hyundai, Portland's #1 VW dealer, and Portland's newest Hyundai dealer. Now let's climb into the driver's seat on Miles Around Television.
In our driver's seat is the 2008 Porsche Cayenne, first introduced in 2003. This is actually the second generation model, and we first saw this at the International Auto Show when Porsche revealed its complete line of vehicles. Now, you may be surprised that the Cayenne is actually the best-selling of all the Porsche cars. Well, the reason for that may be because a full family can experience the Porsche drive on and off-road.
Well, I must be the one person on the Miles Around crew that actually loves the Porsche Cayenne. I love the fact that Porsche has taken their brand, their feel, and the way that they put a car together and embraced the sport utility craze. Now, some people might say that that's a complete waste of energy for Porsche to ever develop something like a sport utility. Well, I say to the naysayers, everybody who's got a 911 turbo needs something to haul the golf clubs in. Now, we're going to take a look at the interior. We're going to take a look at the mechanics. Right now, we're going to take a look right here under the hood.
Underneath the hood of the 2008 Porsche Cayenne, in this particular model, you'll find a 3.6 V6 engine, and every single engine offered in every single Porsche Cayenne for this year is actually better on its fuel injection than it's ever been before.
Well, it has some very interesting numbers with the 3.8-liter V6 under the hood of the Porsche Cayenne. 290 horsepower and 283 pounds-feet of torque, driving into a 6-speed automatic transmission, or a Tiptronic, as Porsche would like you to know it, and the all-wheel drive system that can split torque up to 35 and 75% either way. Now, the interesting fact behind this particular vehicle is it is the base model, and a lot of the other people I've talked to, including my co-host that's test-driven it now, says it's gutless by his estimation. I say hogwash. I say if you rev it, hit the sport mode, and manually shift it all the way up to the close to 7,000 RPM fuel shutoff, it's plenty of power. Granted, the twin-turbo V8 has a ton more, but I think it's a spirited drive, and keeping the weight down overall makes the vehicle feel more nimble. It comes down to this. If you want big power, yes, you'll buy the twin-turbo. If you want adequate plus some fuel mileage, you'll probably choose this one. Now, I just talked about how the V6 doesn't have as much horsepower as the twin-turbo V8, let alone the regular V8. And yes, a lot of people out there might be a little bit put off by the fact that it only has 290 horsepower. But let's get down to the two things that Porsche has always been known for, and one of the biggest strengths they have. It's the ride and handling. When you're talking about standard 6-piston calipers in the front, beautiful suspension pieces made of aluminum, and the way that the car feels and brakes, it's what makes a Porsche a Porsche. It's kind of a cliche way of putting it, but when you're talking about putting this up against all the other sport utilities, and I really don't care what size or what denomination you make it, whether it's a super sport utility or something built to haul all the families, one thing the sport utility does is handle well. When it comes to this part of the review, exterior styling, I think I've got the easy part of this segment. This car looks like a Porsche 911 for good reason. Now, it doesn't look exactly like a 911, but you see the little cues. The headlamps from the previous generation, the cues from the twin turbo for the air inlets, whether they're useful or not, it doesn't matter. Someone who buys one of these is most likely a person who has a 911 in the garage and wants something that can haul multiple passengers comfortably and put their garage stuff in the back when they need to go to Home Depot and pick up some flowers. But it comes down to styling, it's definitely one of the better looking small sport utilities. It has a little flair, a little bit of style, and I think the owners are going to look for that.
On the sides and the back end of the 2008 Porsche Cayenne, you'll find some very subtle redesign elements. You'll find that the side mirrors have been redesigned as well as the roofline. But I want to point out a couple of things on the car that aren't so noticeable unless you walk around it and get to drive it for a week or so. And that is the front indicator lights actually have a glass piece or a glass panel piece on the inside of the wheel well. Now, this is an incredibly ingenious invention. Why is that, you ask? Well, it's because vehicles who are coming up behind you can actually see if you're turning left by looking towards the wheel well of the car. If your back indicator light happens to be out, or you're coming from the side and don't catch a good angle of the front indicator light, you can actually see it from the side or the back end. Now, this is the first car that I've ever seen do this, and it's a great advancement in ways to make sure that people see you when things are dark outside. inside the passenger compartment of the 2008 Porsche Cayenne, you'll find a very bulky end, very meaty on the inside with some good door ballast as well as the seats feeling very firm. One of the things you'll notice when you drive this vehicle is it's very sturdy. Although the vehicle's weight has been reduced for this particular model, you'll find that it actually feels very much like you're in a very secure and very heavy compartment. The doors slam well, there's plenty of room in the back seats, and also if you put the seats all the way back, legs aren't crushed behind you. With good trunk space and fine materials used on the inside, Porsche have really continued their name as a fine German automobile manufacturer.
When it comes to my interpretation of the interior, one only has to say the nameplate of the brand, Porsche. The driver's position is absolutely perfect. You have a beautiful array of gauges in front of you to view, and the outward vision is absolutely perfect. The thing that makes this car a Porsche is the way that it is stark on the inside. Now, you could look at that as a good or a bad thing, and that might come up even in my 2 ups and 1 down, but there's something about it that's the simplicity of it that makes it a Porsche. It's one of their nameplate's trademarks. So whether you want a bunch of buttons or not, this thing is going to make you happy aesthetically, and the fact that you get to do this with your left hand. When it comes to my 2 ups and 1 down for this, the Porsche Cayenne, it's going to come down to a few specific things. One's going to be the ride and handling. I mentioned this before. The steering and the brakes in this car are absolutely magnificent. I love the feel. It is so direct. It is like driving a sports car. Now, we say that once in a while, that a big luxury vehicle or even a sport utility has a sports car feel. This one really does actually have it. My other up is going to be the blend between horsepower and fuel mileage with the V6. Like I said, some of their people on the program say it's not enough power, that they would have liked to have seen a little bit more oomph. I say, again, the word hogwash got made fun of that for that one. But here's the deal. When you can still get 20 miles per gallon and still have fun driving, it's definitely an up for me. Now, the down is going to be somewhat of a Porsche trait. It's the starkness of the interior. I think a lot of people, once they jump in a 50,000 plus sport utility, are going to want to see the buttons, the goodies, the things that you get with a luxury item vehicle. This is very stark, very almost naked-like, and I think that that's going to be a down just in the aesthetics from the visual aspect. That's going to be my 2 ups and 1 down for this, the Porsche Cayenne.
It's time to look at my 2 ups and 1 down for the 2008 Porsche Cayenne. Now, Dennis has called me a naysayer and a ne'er-do-well when I talk about this car, but it's not true. I really do like it a lot. I was surprised at a couple of things, and because I'm not used to the brand or the model particularly, I was startled by some things when I put the vehicle onto the road. But this gives you the chance to take your family and friends along for the Porsche ride that you don't get anywhere else. My first up has got to be that performance. You get a Porsche ride and a Porsche drive on and off-road in an SUV that's actually available to anybody when they go to any Porsche dealer. This is not some restricted great sports car that it's really hard to lay your hands on. My second up for the vehicle is the usability for the vehicle when you do things like off-roading. It's easy to get in and out of. There's plenty of room and plenty of extra space on the inside, and the vehicle is comfortable to drive. So the overall usability of the car is a big thumbs up. My downside for the car is, even though this is a lighter V6 engine underneath the hood, it still uses quite a lot of gas. I found myself burning through easily $100 of gas in this vehicle when I didn't expect to. And now it's a sort of vehicle that you love to put on the road and start driving, and some of that may have been my fault. But to shrug off my title as naysayer and ne'er-do-well, I will tell you this is one of the most exciting SUVs I've driven this year.
The 2008 Porsche Cayenne Tiptronic comes standard with a 3.6-liter V6 and a 6-speed automatic transmission. Base vehicle price is $43,400. As tested price, $51,650. City mile per gallon EPA rating is 14. Highway mile per gallon EPA rating is 20.